As Caitlin's been telling you, that's the area right there where you see that little dark red blip that we're really kind of watching. And it's racing north and west. You're right. This forward speed's 35 to 40 miles per hour on this thing. So it's moving quite quickly. We also want to welcome our viewers on
The Plus. Welcome. Yes, so we are not just on WTTG Fox 5, we are also on Fox 5 Plus. Normally we'd be starting our 8 p.m. broadcast this evening, but we're starting a little early and in extended weather coverage due to this tornado warning that goes until 8:15. We've been talking about this on Fox 5. Tornado warning issued for parts of Stafford and Fauquier County, and it looks like we now have a second one just to the north and east of there. Twin tornado warnings here. That means we've got two areas of rotation within this band of rain. One moving from Stafford County into Fauquier County. That goes until 8:15, and we have an additional tornado warning now for parts of Prince William County. So this is just to the east, but it's a different warning because it's a different area of rotation, and it also goes into a different county, Prince William County. So if you are in Prince William County and you are right near Aquia Harbor?
I would guess Aquia Harbor. Just
Aquia Harbor.
South and east of Garrisonville. There.
Exactly, near Garrisonville. That is where the area of rotation is. It's a secondary one, and that's lifting northward very quickly into parts of Prince William County. So Prince William, you know, we're starting to talk about counties a little bit closer into the metro. If you're in the southern part of this county that's under this tornado warning, you also want to shelter in place because while that's not close to 95, or no, it does bisect 95. I'm sorry. Aquia Harbor. Okay, thank you. Aquia Harbor. My apologies. Aquia Harbor, that's where the area of rotation is, and that's right there. It's actually right near 95. And so that would be kind of bisecting 95 as it lifts northwestward and is also, I'm sure, moving very quickly like our other area of rotation and our other band of rain here just to the west. And that's at about 30 to 35 miles an hour. So that's all lifting very quickly. Mike has the velocity on, so that's what we're looking at. That gives us a good idea of where exactly the rotation is within the storm. These are a bunch of communities in the path: Aquia, David's Crossroads. So we go, Brentsville, Manassas. We all know Manassas. So Manassas in Prince William County, 8:38 p.m. That's a ways to go. You can see you're kind of outside the tornado warned box, but it's headed in that direction through Prince William County. And again, that's our second warning, which I believe that one goes until 8:30. 8:30. Yes. Okay, 8:30. So first warning, which has been trimmed. It is mostly just Fauquier County at this point until 8:15, and then our second one for Prince William and Stafford, that goes until 8:30, and that's just west of Triangle here on 95, although it does kind of intersect 95.
And there's a reason we're showing you this graphic and not the what we call the reflectivity, which is your rainfall, because the rainfall looks like this. It is just a wall of water. You would not see these tornadoes coming on just by looking out your window because of how heavy. I mean, these are heavy, heavy downpours, Caitlin, just north of Hartwood. I wouldn't be shocked to see some flash flood warnings start firing around the same area shortly. But right now, again, the two biggest areas of concern are just about to cross the border out of Stafford County into Fauquier County, and then this new area, northern Stafford County. Looks like the part of that cell would have just crossed over. Let's take DCA. So it would have just crossed over I-95 here and is heading right for Garrisonville. So folks in Garrisonville, make sure you're taking shelter here as this storm is heading up in your direction. I will say of the two, the stronger rotation still looks like it's on the cell that's heading into Fauquier County here. But we still want folks to take caution regardless.
Yeah, and that's a good point about showing radar. It's just a mess of heavy rain, and therefore, if there are tornadoes, they're wrapped in all that rain. We call them rain wrapped, but really it just means you can't see them. I mean, it's nearly dark at this point anyways, and we wouldn't want you to see them, but it's hard for us to discern just by looking at radar. Usually we look at radar, we'd see a hookup echo. It would be more of a discrete cell. That's not the case. It's just a whole mess of rain. These bands have rotation embedded within, and it's very small areas. So when we show the velocity tracker, that's why we do it. And Mike's right, certainly looks still like some better rotation moving into Fauquier County. That's out of Stafford County, but then we have our secondary warning right here, lifting across 95 from Stafford into Prince William County. And we don't have anything rotating close to the metro right now. We're really just getting into the outer reaches of our suburbs, but they are, you know, headed closer in. As you can see, the trajectory is more northwestward, so heading up through Fauquier County, Prince William County, headed towards 66. at least the rain, the heavy rain with it. And if there's any rotation within, it's headed in that direction too.
So I'm trying to find the exact location here. Gold Vein, Virginia. National Weather Service is saying that they have a tornado debris signature. So that would be on this cell, I believe. Here in getting into Fauquier County, looks like to me, just off to the north and west of Hartwood, right along Route 17 there in Virginia. They are saying that they have reports that a tornado's on the ground or has at least done some damage down that way.
Okay, that would be, I'm guessing, somewhere right there on the Stafford Fauquier border.
It looks like we'd have to get pretty close in here, but I believe it's going to be right along Virginia Route 17 down this way. So I believe it would be out of this cell here. So all the more important for folks in Fauquier County to make sure we're taking it seriously and seeking shelter as this storm comes across.
Yeah, that is the same storm that cruised by Fredericksburg along Route 17. So that would make sense that it would be located somewhere along Route 17. So again, what Mike's talking about is a reported tornado on the ground. Hard to see for all the reasons we just mentioned, but it's probably embedded within this signature of this tornado warning, which does go until 8:15, and we'll see if it's
right.
extended.
And I'm going to show something I almost never show, but they're saying that you can see it really well. And see that blip right there of green. That is what we call a tornadic debris signature. So that is an indication that debris has basically been picked up by the tornado and thrown aloft. So it's the radar telling us that whatever objects are being picked up there, they're not uniform. Like raindrops are pretty uniform. This is matter that it's saying is different shapes, different sizes. So we get what we call a correlation coefficient drop. And that's what we're seeing right here. So this is an indication that a tornado may be or was just shortly before then on the ground in this area. So that would be over across into Fauquier County there, Caitlin.
Yeah, and that would be something that would be difficult just to see on radar because it is so diffuse with all of the rain, but that picks it up pretty well. Correlation coefficient, don't worry at home. You don't need to know anything about that, what that means.
No pop quiz after this.
Yeah,
but we want folks safe.
An indicator to us that possibly if there is debris being lofted in the air, it would be right near the Somerville area, and that is right on the border of Stafford and Fauquier. So if there was a tornado, that's where it would be, or that's where it was, truthfully.
I mentioned that this one over here has a very light one as well. Just off to the north and west of Garrisonville, they're reporting a little bit of a TDS on it as well. So that could just be a little bit of debris, sticks, leaves, what have you, that gets into the atmosphere as these cells go by. That was certainly a very, when it was over in Stafford County here, just off to the south and to the east of Crop, that was a pretty strong one for this area. So it wouldn't surprise me if we had a tornado touchdown down that way as these cells continue to move off to the north and east here. But certainly strongest right now, Fauquier County, right near Summersville and just off to the west of Summersville. They're heading towards Elk Run. So folks in Elk Run, take warning. This is heading in your direction.
Yeah, and maybe we'll just put a tracker on that because it is, the cell itself is headed towards Warrenton, so you're getting into more well-known parts of Fauquier County. If the tornado warning is extended and if it continues to produce rotation, if there's a tornado in there, these are communities in the path of the storm. So Mike mentioned Somerville. If there's a tornado, it's right overhead there, but also headed towards Elk Run, Balls Mill, Auburn, and Warrenton, which is in central Fauquier County. Big community there. And you guys, you're not under a tornado warning, but if this is extended, that's kind of where all of this is lifting. It's pouring rain there, I've no doubt. It's pouring rain just pretty much everywhere here in this part of central Virginia, in Stafford County, in Spotsylvania County, in Fauquier County, and Prince William County. Here's our secondary warning. This was issued just after the one in Fauquier. Not seeing as impressive signatures with this one over Prince William and Stafford, but could still be a tornado in there as rotation was detected on radar. And those warnings go until 8:15 for the Fauquier one and 8:30 there for the Prince William one. So these are the two warnings that we are on the air for, tornado warnings in our area. And we don't have any others, but we certainly could as we go through the rest of the evening. I suspect it'll be a late night full of tornado warnings, especially in this part of Virginia, because the bulk of the heavy rain bands associated with Debby are out in central Virginia. So Mike is just kind of circling these twin areas of velocity where you see the winds turning towards and away from the radar, so it produces that little couplet right there, the southern side of this warning box in Stafford County, as well as in the more central part of that warning box in Fauquier County. So that if there are tornadoes in there, that's where they would be. And it looks like this is just north and west of Garrisonville, that town that you mentioned earlier, Mike.
Right. So this is that one. MCB-3, Quantico Marine Corps Base, kind of right down that way. Marine Corps Base, I believe, is what MCB stands for. So folks at Quantico down that way certainly have to keep their eye on this cell as it goes through. And then this one here in Fauquier County. Now, to me, it looks like the rotation's broadening just a little bit. We'll see if they continue. Again, this is set to expire in 5 minutes. No chatter from the National Weather Service on whether or not they plan to extend that. But of the two now, it seems like the one to me that's still in Stafford County is just a little bit more well-defined. The one in out in Fauquier County, a little broader, but still a rotating cell. So certainly stuff that we're watching for you here. As mentioned, we're showing it to you on velocity because the radar looks like this. I mean, it is a mess of heavy, heavy downpours down across central Virginia. So this isn't in a situation where you guys would see the tornadoes coming. If you're in the warned area, we really want you all just to take shelter. Again, your goal is always to put as many walls between you and the outside as you can. So interior portion of your house, lowest level of your house as well, or a tornado shelter if there's one nearby.
Yeah, and you know what, let's just take a moment and I guess zoom back out. We'll reorient you to where we are here in the metro. In D.C., we're talking about storms that are just in our southwestern suburbs, our far southwestern suburbs, but they are definitely being hit by this very hefty band associated with Debby. So Debby, which became a tropical depression earlier this evening, certainly broadening out a bit and kind of losing its tight circulation. There is still a center of circulation somewhere, it looks like down in central North Carolina, but it is not maybe as well defined in that really tight comma shape that it was earlier today. Our latest update was at 5 o'clock. Doesn't seem like they're doing an 8 o'clock one because why would they? It's now a tropical depression instead of a tropical storm, but winds sustained at 35 miles an hour and moving to the north and west at 10 miles an hour. For days, we've watched this thing kind of creep along at 3-4 miles an hour, but it is starting to pick up some speed, so to speak, at just 10 miles an hour. But soon we'll start to see it really kind of move forward faster because we can tell in the actual rain bands, there's some decent movement off to the north and west. The rotating parts of the storms are moving at about 30 to 35 miles an hour. So here in D.C., a lot of the action to the southwest of the Beltway, getting into Prince William County. We certainly have heavy rain filling in all across Fairfax, 66, and even back into Montgomery County, Loudoun County, places like that. But we continue to focus on these two tornado warnings.
Looks like they just extended it.
It looks like the one that we've been following in Fauquier County now extended to include Warrenton. So this is taking up a good chunk of real estate in Fauquier County. This tornado warning is an extension of the one that actually started 2 warnings ago down near Fredericksburg, Virginia. So now this is lifting northwestward deeper into Fauquier County. Mike kind of has circled where the area of rotation is in the storm and where it's headed, which is to the north and west about 30 to 35 miles an hour. So that warning for Fauquier is now going to go until 8:45. So we are on the air with you now until at least 8:45 to cover these 2 warnings. The one out of Stafford and Prince William goes until 8:30, and then this one in Fauquier goes until 8:45. By the way, it does seem, as per the National Weather Service, there is some evidence of there being a tornado on the ground at some point within this warning. So if you are in Fauquier County, Warrenton, or the Warrenton area, please take shelter. Mike's putting on a map where we can kind of see if there was any debris with this. It looks like it was at some point crossing over from Stafford into Fauquier County. A little bit of lightning there too, and that means there could be a tornado on the ground, or maybe one kind of hit the ground, went back up again, that sort of thing. And now it looks like we got another.
So there's a couple of areas of rotation within this cell. And I'm going to try and get a read from the National Weather Service on exactly what they're doing. I believe it's this one. So it's sort of behind the initial tornado that they've gone ahead and issued, I believe, this warning. That is the original one. This warning in between. There's a lot happening here, folks, but there's several areas of rotation down that way that now have tornado warnings associated with them. So I believe, and there you go, you can see they dropped the initial one. So let's reorganize here and get everything set up for you. So there are two distinct areas of rotation that we're monitoring here. One is down here, southern portions, kind of what areas just hit by that other area of rotation. And the second one's up here that goes, and that's the one that goes until 8:45. They both go until 8:45, I believe. And then there's another one over here. So, and we just want to give folks a heads up. This is the type of night we're going to be in for here in Washington, where we're tracking multiple areas of rotation. And this could go right through the overnight hours and into the early morning hours tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we want to give folks the heads up here. Again, I see 3 areas of rotation. You got one here coming out of Stafford County about to get into Prince William, and then you have 2. This one still seems a little bit weaker to me in central portions of Fauquier County. That warning includes Warrenton until 8:45 p.m. and then also until 8:45. This area just behind it, Caitlin, I believe is what they went ahead and warned there.
Yeah, it's a lot. Basically, that whole area is under a tornado warning. So anyone in Fauquier County and Prince William County, just play it safe and take shelter with these tornado warnings that are coming out very quickly. And they're kind of on top of each other because there are several vortices within these bands of rain that are rotating. And when Mike puts radar on, you can get a better idea of what we're dealing with. It looks like a huge mess because it is. It's really just very heavy rain associated with Debby, and it's all lifting through or from the southeast to the northwest, just like that. But within these pockets of very heavy rain, there's some twisting of the wind, so there's some rotation. There can be some tornadoes. And so 3 different areas of rotation, as Mike mentioned. Basically, you just want to know that there could be a tornado in any of these places. So in the very northeastern corner of Stafford County, getting into Prince William County, as well as Fauquier County, could be several areas of rotation.
Yeah, let's go ahead and break this down warning by warning here. So we'll start with the northernmost warning, and that is this one that's in Stafford, Prince William. That goes until 8:30. And the folks that would be impacted here at the immediate, right at that David's crossroads there, where you see the difference between the coloring there on our map. So that's right, MCB, Marine Corps Base, I believe. So I want to say that's right around Quantico area, certainly on guard for this storm as it pushes off to the north and to the west. Then we have 2 areas of rotation here in the southern storm, both of which are now in Fauquier County. So to me, this one on the north, and we'll continue to watch it while the warning was on, but this is the cell that at one time had basically a confirmed tornado, at least radar indicated tornado on the ground. It's just about to go through Eustis Corner there, Route 28. In Virginia. That rotation is about to cross right over you, but then down to the south here, this one looks a little bit more pronounced to me, about to approach the city of Bleak. So some of these areas are still tornado warned from an earlier cell, and now you're under another tornado warning for a cell that's approaching you from the south. So heads up, if you thought you were heading out of your shelter and you thought things were okay, now a new tornado warning for south central Fauquier County. It's about to kind of cut the county right in half as it travels north and west. Both those warnings in Fauquier go until 8:45 p.m.
And in terms of reports that we've seen, I just took a peek to see if there was anything new. Not really. It seems like maybe there was a report out of Fauquier County, Mike, that there could have been a tornado on the ground, but otherwise we're just not really sure. This is mostly just radar indicated rotation.
Yeah, so far it looks like they're talking with the emergency managers down there, though they haven't confirmed any reports of ground-based activity just yet. And this is not something we show often. No pop quiz, correlation coefficient. We certainly see what they saw, which right there is debris on the ground, or debris being hoisted aloft within the cloud deck as that tornado likely went across out of Stafford into Fauquier. Since that point, in those areas of rotation, there's nothing like jumping out to me, Caitlin. I don't know about you, but nothing jumping out to me as saying, hey, there's definitely tornadoes on the ground right now. But that doesn't mean that the clouds aren't rotating or that one could not drop. And I think that's sort of the issue at this point, is that at any moment a brief tornado could drop out of any of these cells.
Yeah, and I think it's just, you know, better safe than sorry, as we knew going into today, and as is usually the case with tropical storms and tropical remnant lows, there's a lot of potential for rotation. So lots of warning happening, because there's probably lots of flares of rotation going up within these bands of rain that are all a part of a big, huge shield of rain lifting through central Virginia right now.
Right, and this is going to be the start of a long night. We want to show everybody the tornado watch that they did put in place. One of, if not the, I'll have to check on this, but it could be one of the longest tornado watches we've ever seen.
Known to man.
In my career here, until 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, a 12-hour long, because they issued it at 7 p.m.
Yeah.
So it goes for 12 straight hours right into early tomorrow morning, this tornado watch that does include D.C., Baltimore. It could be a very long night. As Caitlin mentioned, this is all part of course, what is left over from Debby, tropical depression now, Debby, that's coming up through North Carolina still. And notice on this radar, you got this band, which has prompted the warning. There's another band just behind it. There's another band here, another band here. So it's going to be several rounds of this that work their way up into our region later on tonight as Debby's center, or what's left of it, passes our region to the north and to the west of town. Unfortunately, that just puts the D.C. area in this zone where these possible tornadoes are very likely. And as we mentioned, probably going to be a long night for us here in Washington, as we're just sort of in that initial band where these warnings are starting to flare up. Yeah,
and it looks like within this band that we have all of the tornado warnings. The movement is kind of away from the immediate D.C. metro. That's where the better energy is, the better rotation within this band to produce tornado warnings. So right now you see them in parts of Prince William, Fauquier County. The movement is kind of northwestward, so you're getting deeper into Fauquier, maybe into Loudoun County as well. I'm just guessing, kind of projecting where this is going to go tonight, but you see how close we are to 66 with the top edge of this warning in Fauquier County. So just an early heads up for everyone along 66 and then north of it. As you get deeper into Loudoun County, you could see some warnings later tonight in northwestern Prince William County, certainly more northern sections of Fauquier County, this whole area, and then farther west, even still towards Front Royal, the mountains. You guys are kind of in that more favorable area with this band of seeing some tornado warnings through tonight. Mike just showed you all the subsequent bands that have to move through associated with Debby, so that could change on placement. All right, so let's do a round robin here with our current tornado warnings that we have. These are all the purple boxes. This one for Prince William and Stafford goes for about 8 more minutes until 8:30. We have a tornado warning within a tornado warning, and this is for Fauquier County until 8:45. I would basically just simplify it and say anyone in southern Fauquier County up north of Warrenton, just shy of Marshall, you are under a tornado warning until 8:45. And there are several areas of potential rotation within. So just ride these out and, you know, don't leave. I mean, there's no reason to leave. It's pouring rain. Leave your house if you have to. And within all of these heavy bands of rain, there could be rotations. So Mike is kind of putting a list of towns that I can't pronounce on there. Balls Mill meets Warrenton and some farther northern towns as you look at the velocity tracker. I'm sorry, I can't.
We both worked here for a very long time, but some of these town names do
Old
jump
Tavern.
out to us.
Is that a bar?
It might be after this.
Anyways, those are all within the path of this storm that is lifting off to the north and west, and that warning till 8:45. So we've got about 20 more minutes of that tornado warning. If there continues to be rotation, that will be extended northwestward again.
And they just go ahead. National Weather Service letting us know that they plan to leave these warnings up until expiration. At the moment, they're not seeing rotation that's as strong. They're not seeing any tornado debris signature like they saw earlier. but they're still seeing broad rotation in these warned cells, so they're going to leave the warnings up until expiration, which for the one in Stafford, Prince William, that is at 8:30, so in about 5-6 minutes here. And then for the ones in Fauquier County, 2 of them, that will go until 8:45 p.m. tonight, unless they decide to extend it farther to the north and to the west.
Right, and we have already had several tornado warnings so far this evening. I think we started out at about 5:45 with a warning in Montgomery County. There may have been a funnel cloud. Otherwise, we're getting deeper into the night. We're not going to be able to see anything or spot anything. Not only is it dark, but it'll be pouring rain. And so this is not really going to be one of those cases where someone saw a tornado, prompts a tornado warning, that sort of thing. This is all just, you know, going by the radar and the rotation detected within, which is great because radar is very sensitive nowadays. It can detect small areas of rotation like it's doing right now. But as you get these alerts on your phone deeper into tonight, it's not anything that you're really going to be able to see or even hear, Mike, because there's been a real absence of thunder and lightning.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're taking a look at all of Northern Virginia right now, essentially, centered on these warning areas, but there's only 2 lightning strikes that have been reported, 3, excuse me, in the last 15 minutes across all of Northern Virginia. So this is not something that you'll get strong warning signals that you might think. Thunder, lightning, wind picking up. It's raining so heavy out there, you probably can't see too much of what the wind's doing, unfortunately, till it's right on top of you. So that's why we want folks to be alert tonight. And you mentioned, and this is a good warning for folks, because I know a lot of people turn them off because I know they drive you crazy. If you've turned off the emergency alerts on your phone, trust me, for one night, do this for your weather guy and for your weather girl, Caitlin, there. We want those alerts on tonight, those government alerts that will wake you up at night if one of these severe thunderstorms, or I'm sorry, tornado-warned storms comes across your area. I know a lot of us turn them off because, you know, that sound can catch you off guard from time to time, but when it's an overnight threat, which is what we have setting up for this evening, you want a way to wake up and make sure you want something to be able to wake you up. You can turn us on here at Fox 5. I'll be here all night. Taylor's going to join me early tomorrow morning, and we'll track any tornadoes that happen to fire up. But you want something to be able to get you up if a warning is issued in your neighborhood, because at the moment, these are all south of D.C. We did have the one in Montgomery County about 5:45 this afternoon, but these lines still have a ways to go before they get into Northern Virginia, Loudoun County, Central Maryland. It's all heading in that direction, but will likely be well into the late evening night and overnight hours tonight.
Yeah, and you know what, Mike? I loved when you showed earlier kind of the wide view where we can really show you what we're in for the rest of tonight. So Tropical Depression Debby. And Mike showed earlier, like, this is band 1, and then we've got a more narrow one behind it, but still, that can produce rotating thunderstorms within it. Yeah.
1, 2, 3. The center's kind of right here, so you got a little band there. And that's the problem with these tropical systems, is that they're going to kick out these bands. There's going to be more of them that come up to the north and west until we get the center of Debby past us. I mean, it's a mess on water vapor, but essentially what's going on is we're pulling in dry air from the back of the storm that's interfering with Debby's structure, but that interference can also lead to these tornadoes becoming a little bit more common. So things that we'll certainly be watching out for throughout the night here tonight.
We are, it looks like, you know, getting some heavier rain kind of inside the Beltway too. Nothing's rotating there, but it has been fairly light over the past couple of hours, but it does look like some heavier rain is kind of building into D.C. I believe this one warning is about to drop at 8:30, so in 2 more minutes, this one for Prince William and Stafford counties, this tornado warning, I think, will be allowed to expire, and it looks like this one was just shrunk, this warning within a warning.
There you go, new warning here, so that's just the one. Oh, they have confirmed this one on the ground, though, so that's an observed tornado.
Okay, so when you see this white box, that tells us that the tornado has been spotted. So believe it or not, even in this heavy rain sort of nighttime situation, tornado on the ground, and this does include Warrenton and Fauquier County. So this is our warning, our tornado warning that's been standing until 8:45, but it is now observed. So Mike's going to kind of look and see where exactly we can find the rotation, which I believe maybe is right there.
I think it would be this one here, because I believe that's the one that came out of southern Fauquier County. Let's go ahead and rewind thing right there. So that's that rotation down
Right here.
and Caitlin, you can grab it. I think it's the one a little bit farther to the south.
This
there.
one right down
I believe it's that one that has come across and is now getting towards that box is the one that likely would have been observed there.
Okay, so that one, which was at the southern part of this warned box in Fauquier County and is headed towards Warren.
And we should mention that when they say observe, they can also say, even if someone doesn't have eyes on it, they can put observed on if they notice that tornadic debris signature, which they've certainly been watching for at the National Weather Service. So that would have likely been because of that flare-up right there. And I know at home this is probably going to be a lot to mention to y'all, but that little green kind of yellow is an indication that there are debris that's being pushed aloft. Now, it doesn't mean large debris. It could just mean sticks. It could mean leaves. But there's debris being picked up on radar that's being lifted above the ground. But if I go to current, you see it's not nearly as pronounced. So all things we're watching, that one in central or portions of Stafford getting over into Prince William County had a little one on it at one point, but it's not nearly as pronounced anymore. But I believe that is actually that observed designation on it was from when it was a little bit of an older storm crossing into southern portions of Fauquier County.
Okay, that makes sense because I was wondering how anyone could possibly see anything. But they do tend to update these maybe a little bit after the fact.
And that's why no one can see because of that rain down that way.
Yeah. So we continue to follow this tornado-warned storm in Fauquier County. That's why we've been on the air with you since right before 8 p.m. and even before that. This is all going back to a storm that came out of Caroline County, Virginia, and moved just east of Fredericksburg. If there was a tornado, it was just east of downtown. And if there was another one, it was in southern Fauquier County. And this is all lifting up through central and now northern sections of Fauquier County. Your warning, which goes till 8:45, this purple box gets right up to about 66 and just shy of the town of Marshall. But this warning does include Warrenton, so some locators for you there. This box within a box picking up additional rotation. Route 28 is a good marker for you as well. This is a really beautiful part of our area, but also a very rural part of our area, country roads, etc. And if there is rotation, it would be just north of 28, where Mike is pointing between Balls Mill and Germantown and just west of Eustis.
And we want to mention that's Germantown, Virginia, not Germantown in Maryland. We know that
not Germantown, Maryland,
right.
So Germantown, Virginia. And this is now just a small slice of a tornado warning for that one area that we just mentioned and that Mike just pointed out until 8:45. So if this is where you are, or this makes sense to you, or you are in the path of this storm even still, you want to continue to shelter in place for the next 15 minutes or so.
And you can see that they did allow it to drop. They said that rotation, and you can sort of see how it got eaten up by some upper level winds that are now pushing their way northward towards 66, that initial band of rotation. There's just this trailing band of rotation. I don't believe, but we'll check to see if it has it. This one does not have the observed note on it. So this one is not an observed tornado, but it would be this little batch, and it's very small, but it's right over Balls Mill, Virginia. If it continues to head north, Meets would be next, and then Warrenton. But at this point, they likely would have extended this out if they planned to extend it. They still mention that it's likely going to be allowed to expire at 8:45, possibly even a little sooner if it continues its journey north and west as fast as they've been moving, because they've been racing northwest at about 35 miles per hour. So let's go ahead and get a tracker on this for folks who live down there. Oh, and we don't need to, because they just went ahead and dropped the warning. So they have gone ahead and dropped all tornado warnings at the moment. We'll give you the big picture just to double check on warnings here. Don't see any more tornado warnings that are issued in our region at the moment. Just tornado watch that remains until 7 a.m. And I would love to say, Caitlin, that this is the last time we're going to see you tonight, but this is
doubt it.
This is not going to be the last time we see you tonight, unfortunately. We're on the plus right now. Caitlin's going to take over here in a moment to give you your full forecast, let you know when Debbie's going to be out of here. But at this time, we have no more tornado warnings. I'm going to check one more time, just because oftentimes they can pop up rather quickly, go away rather quickly in these tropical systems. But we are tornado warning free at the moment. We will continue to monitor that line of storms. Please join us, Fox 5 Plus. Caitlin's going to have the latest forecast, and we'll be on for you tonight, 10, 11, and beyond if need be, if more tornado warnings are issued in our area.